Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
What we're going to take a look at now is the Duel, which is a scenario for 2 players. I'm just going to go over the differences. If you want to know how to play the base game, please watch my review of that. What you're going to have here, once again, is you're going to have your events. There's going to be 16 events in the game. These are going to be very different than what you see in the base game or the other expansions, but you're going to be counting this down, and there'll be 16 rounds. You must accomplish everything that has to be done in 16 rounds, or both players will lose. This is going to replace the main board where people would go and Town Hall died, and you will have these sections here. Each give you a coin and a citizen if it fills up, but you only need 3 people. What you're going to be doing in this one is a little bit different. You're going to be trying to accomplish these 4 objectives. If anybody accomplishes all 4 objectives before the final of the 16th round, then you will have won the game. The first objective is get at least 3 development points on the development track. And number 2 is have 3 trading stations on the board, but 1 cannot be near water. The third one is take 3 wine to the castle of Chateau Roulat, and if you can get your merchant there with 3 wine and give them up, then you've accomplished it. And the fourth one is travel and deliver 3 fabrics to Orleans. It has to be 3 fabrics, but one of them has to be the red. So you can all 3 be the red, but one of them at least has to be the red. If you accomplish all 4 of those objectives, you win the game. The only other little change you're going to see is you're going to see this available action. You can give up one of your workers and a citizen. Now, if you give up your worker here, he's not come back to you. He will go back to the general supply. If you give up a citizen and a worker, remember, citizens don't score any victory points in this one. You're just trying to accomplish the objectives. You can get 1 good of your choice. You can move over land or water, get 3 development points or 5 victory points. But this is a permanently giving up a citizen and permanently giving up one of your workers. But this is a different, and you can see the yellow and the green. Either player can take the action. The expansion gives you a 2-player duel that you're going to be playing. So what you're going to be doing is racing to get 4 objectives done. You get 3 points on the development track. You got to get 3 towns out, but 1 can't be surrounded by water. You're going to have to get 3 wines to a city and 3 fabrics back to Orleans. And you're going to be racing to do these things. Now, you've only got 16 turns to do this thing, because if 16 turns is up and both players haven't accomplished it, you both lose. All the rules are quiet on that. I looked on BGG, and that seems to be the consensus. So although the rules are really silent on what happens if you run out. We weren't sure if you just wrapped around and did more events or you ended it, but it seems to be that you ended it. So a little loophole in the rules, but anyway. So what you're going to do is you're going to replace the town council board, and you're going to get structured events that are going to happen. Now let me speak on these events for a second. These events are brutal because they're constantly taking away from what you want. There's a couple at the end where you got to give up 7 victory points worth of goods or coins. And there's a 4 one right after that the next turn. So they can be pretty brutal. There's some where you have to give up cheese or you have to give up a grain. And if you don't have it to give up, there's no torture in this one. You can't give up other stuff. You lose the game. You really need to look ahead of these events. And what we did the first time we played it was like, okay, look, got to get cheese by the end of the round. How are you going to get cheese? Think about that. How am I going to get cheese? Because you don't want to get hosed. And just to be safe, you want to be planning these out much more in advance than you would some of the other ones, because you can always give up other things. And this one you can't. You will lose the game. So this is a 2-player game. You're playing just against this person, but the board is actually coming to life. This is the one I've played so far that the board has come to life before. I feel like those events are really affecting this game. I really feel like what is happening with the taxes I have to pay, the goods that I get, the bonuses that I get, really affect the game. And it's almost like there's a 3rd player with us. This is not a dummy player. This is just the events and the reactions that we have. There is a new place that you can do that's open up to both players where you can give up a citizen. So in the normal base game, citizens score you as a modifier to get victory points. Well, there's no victory points. You're just trying to get objectives done. So you can go to this place and give up your worker permanently and give up a citizen permanently, and you can do some bonus things, which is get a good of your choice, move on the board either through water or land. You can get 5 gold coins, or you can move on 3 in development, which are all of these will help you with the 4 objectives that you're doing. So it's nice to have that, and each player can do that once per turn, but the cost is heavy. you have to get a citizen, and there's less choices in this scenario to get citizens, so it's harder to get, and you have to permanently give up a worker. You don't get it back like you normally do. That can be pretty rough. Overall, I gotta say this was a huge win for us. We really enjoyed the duel, and I think 2-player, this is where I'm gonna settle in at. I'm gonna be playing this one. We had a great time trying to beat the clock and beat each other. And I remember the first time we played, I won on the 16th turn because it took us back to Orleans, and I was able to get that win. And I think that's huge. I think you need to be ready for the board to send you back on the last turn with what you need. But listen, I think this one's going to have some ties. I think that's why they have a tiebreaker of the most coins. So you need to keep your eye on your 4 objectives, but you need to keep the other eye on your coins, because you're going to need those to break the tie. And I feel like this one's going to have ties. I feel like this one is really close, and it's all about that efficiency. And you're really, you want to keep down there where you have to take the wines of the city. I feel like that you're really in a position where you're going to be fighting over what's down there. You need to make sure there's enough wine on the board. You need to make sure there's enough fabric on the board. Otherwise, it's going to be cutthroat getting down there and getting what you need. In conclusion, I felt like this is a huge win. I am so happy. It almost felt like when 7 Wonders brought out the 2-player version, and you're like, yes, high five. It's good. It's good. It's really good. You want that, because so many times the dice version or the card version or the 2-player version isn't quite as good. This is a really neat, and I love what this big box expansion is giving us so far. The Duel, 2 thumbs up, total winner. You should play this 2-player. If you play 2-player with your spouse or friend, or you play a lot of 2-players games, I think this scenario is one that you're really going to get some legs out of. I don't know how much the replayability is, because it's the same 4 objectives, it's the same events that are coming out. I kind of wish you could turn those up a little bit and change them out. Maybe an expansion to the expansion will allow you to do that. But for now, you're kind of stuck with the same one. But boy, is it good. I mean, you don't say Agricola doesn't have a lot of replayability because it's the same board every time. You don't say that Kalis is a bad game because it's the same board, or insert your favorite game here. But here, it's really the same events. It's really the same 4 objectives, and you're gaming the system based on what the board is set up. So, dial it back a hair just for that replayability, but I think you'll get a good 5 to 15 plays out of it, and you'll still be having a good time. So I'm highly going to recommend the Duel, especially if you want to play 2 players. So far, I've been happy with this big box expansion. And thanks for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing games.